And joining us with more on what we can expect from corporate America this earnings season is Michael Levas, a Senior Managing Principal and Director of Trading at the Olympian Group of Investment Management Companies. Michael, thanks for joining us this evening. Let's get straight into it. The Russell 2000 index hit another all-time high. What would you say is the significance of this?
I think that the Russell is being motivated by all of the criteria in the market. What's really happening are the major pensions here in the United States are having to pay their pensioners rather about 7%. So in essence, what they're doing is they're buying up the debt of all the major corporations in the Russell, in the S&P, in the Dow. And what that's creating is just a tremendous amount of stock buybacks, dividend increases, and mergers and acquisitions. I mean, we just recently saw with the announcement by Pfizer that they're increasing their buyback by $10 billion in addition to the $3 billion that they already have in effect. So these are the situations that are driving the markets and moving them quite higher.
Well, you're talking more macro kind of conditions here. I want to focus a little bit on the fundamentals of companies, especially with the second earnings season kicking off. Alcoa reporting a better than expected quarterly loss. The Fed may start tapering back. Is there going to be more emphasis now on the actual fundamentals in these companies?
Michelle, I think that, you always have to look at the fundamentals of the companies without question, but you need to look at the technicals. You need to encompass the entire macro point of view. Look at what the underlying trends are in the economy, and then you're able to make your thesis and go forward with investing. I mean, these are always very, very critical parts of investing, so I think that one has to do this without question.
Well, so far the earnings pre-announcements have been rather negative. As of last Friday, the ratio of negative to positive corporate comments stood at 6.5 to 1. That's according to Reuters. That's the most negative reading since 2001. But the markets seem to indicate an optimism re the earnings season, rallying for the last four sessions in a row. How do you reconcile that? What's your forecast for the earnings season?
Well, I think we're going to have a very good earnings season. I think that Alcoa obviously was just the beginning. We had an announcement by Intuitive Surgical as well that really kind of had a very, very down effect on Intuitive. Today was down quite a bit. But overall, I think that there's going to be a lot of major emphasis on the companies reporting, the multinationals, the companies that have exposure really globally, I think are going to do exceptionally well. So I think we're going to get a lot of surprises to the upside in some of these companies that we'll see in the next coming weeks. The bulk of it will be in the next 2 weeks. I mean, as I said, Alcoa is just the beginning. So starting next week and the week after, we'll really start to see the emphasis on all these companies reporting.
Now, you mentioned some surprises. Which sectors do you think are going to surprise us to the upside?
I think some of the technology sector companies will have some upside surprises. I think, for instance, Google has just been phenomenal. Some of the numbers that I'm seeing out of Google have just been fantastic in what they're doing and what they're creating. I think that Apple might surprise us as well with some of the recent initiatives that they've been doing. So I think both of them, Priceline has been doing exceptionally well, even though it's not a technology company per se. It is internet-based, and it does have a lot of quote appeal in the technology sector. So I think some of these companies are going to do exceptionally well and surprise some of the so-called pundits that are out there looking at the negative forecast that they're giving for this quarter.
Now, of course, there's a lot of concern about the Fed tapering off its stimulus, which has really fueled the rally that we've seen in the equity markets. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we have the minutes from the FOMC meeting. What are your expectations there?
I think the chairman has done an exceptional job in really guiding the economy into what he has really seen in the last several years. I think the critical statement that he made was that we will look at the data and make our decisions based on the data. And I think that's very, very important. We really need to look at that on a consistent basis. And I think that the Fed excuse me, has done a great job in doing that. So I think that they'll monitor everything, continue into the second, third, and fourth quarter, and then by next year, if the economy continues to have this type of, I don't want to say excitement, but upward mobility, then I think we'll see some type of tapering.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. We're out of time, but thank you so much, Michael Levas, Managing Principal at Olympian Capital Markets.